I've talked before about how I am ADHD and the problems that it created for me as a child. One of the things that it did was make me a terrible team player on any sports. Anytime I was on a sports team, I would be just so anxious. I was a ball hog. I hated to pass. I just couldn't stand and wait for something to happen in my area. I was always running to where the action was. So I liked to play golf and tennis because it was all me. The problem was that I stink at golf and tennis. And if you've ever played either of those games with me, you would agree. So I took some lessons. And it was interesting because in both, the very first thing they tell you is the grip. In golf, if your grip is wrong, your swing will be wrong. And you may, from time to time, get lucky and hit the ball in just the wrong way so that it goes where you want it. Most times, if your grip is off, your swing is off, and the ball will be off. During the lessons, I was taught the grip and then told to take a number of swings with the 7-iron. And I kept hitting and hitting and hitting. And he would tell me periodically, check your grip, because my grip would slip. I wasn't even aware of it, but it would slip a little bit, and when it did, the swing went off. And so he kept telling me, check your grip. Your grip is off. Tennis is the same thing. It's the first thing you will learn is how to grip the racket. Because the same thing, if the grip isn't right, you can have everything else exactly right, but if your grip is off, nothing is going to go the way you want it to. It's all about the grip. Today is the feast day, officially, of Mary, Mother of God. But in 1963, Pope John the 23rd declared that this day was the World Day of Peace. And so we are celebrating today this World Day of Peace, Mary being the Queen of Peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. But John the 23rd also said, if you want peace, work for justice. Justice is the grip. When we say justice in the Catholic Church and really the Judeo-Christian tradition, we don't mean legal justice. We mean right relationship. It's about being in right relationship with our God, with our neighbor, and with ourselves. That's what justice is. So when we say that Jesus justifies us, what we're saying is that sin had ruptured our relationship with God so severely that we were unable to justify ourselves. We were unable to right that relationship, and so God righted it. God made our relationship with Him right through Jesus. That's what it means to be justified. It means to stand in right relationship with our God. Justice is all about right relationship. And it is that leads to peace. On the first day of the year, we often make New Year's resolutions, all of which, in one capacity or another, touch on justice. We might say that I'm going to eat better, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to exercise more. Well, that's just about our relationship with ourselves, and that is about justice. We might say that I'm going to treat my family better, I'm going to spend more time with the people I love. Well, that's about our relationship, bettering our relationship with our brothers and sisters, and that's about justice. We might say that I'm going to go to Mass every week. We might say I'm going to pray more. We might say that I'm going to be a holier person. Well, that's about our relationship with God, and that too is about justice. And it is justice that brings about peace. 10 years ago, more or less, the church changed a lot of the language and the laws. We all went through that trauma. The trauma of having to remember the Lord be with you and with your spirit. But now that we've been at it for about 10 years, it makes a whole lot of sense to me. Because when we say peace be with you, we're not talking about the peace that the world can give. We're talking about an inner peace. We are talking about a peace that comes from right relationship with our God, right relationship with ourselves, right relationship with our neighbor. We talk about the kind of peace that dwells within our hearts, not the kind of peace that comes from a ceasefire agreement between nations. We are talking about a peace that only comes from right relationship. So when I say, peace be with you, I am talking about the right relationship with God and with yourself and with your neighbor. And when you say, and with your spirit, you are just affirming that we're not talking about this outer peace. We're talking about the inner peace. We're talking about the peace that Mary had when she pondered all these things in her heart. Mary didn't get all excited. Mary didn't get all frightened. Mary didn't get all upset about everything. Mary pondered it in her heart. Mary was at peace because Mary's relationship with God, neighbor, and self was righteous and justified. If you want peace, work for justice. And so when you're making your New Year's resolutions, don't just talk about those things that create a chaos in your life. Go right to the heart. Check your grip. It's all about the grip, and justice is the grip for Christians. So rather than just saying, I'm going to lose weight, improve your relationship with yourself. And that doesn't mean being easy on yourself when you mess up. It means receiving mercy, and there's nothing easy about that. It means recognizing that we are faulty. It means recognizing that we are imperfect. It means recognizing that I am not going to do everything perfectly, but that the mercy of God justifies my relationship. Instead of saying that you're going to come to Mass every Sunday, that you're going to pray more, check your relationship with God and make sure that your relationship with God is just. Instead of making the resolutions that we will spend so much more time with our family and be kinder and nicer to people, check your grip. And what is your relationship like? Justice is right relationship, and justice is the only thing that can bring the kind of peace that Jesus was born to bring us. And so if you want peace, work for justice. And if you want justice, work for right relationships. When our relationships are right, we are at peace. And when we are at peace, only then can we make the world at peace. This is the World Day of Peace. This is the first day of a brand new year. Make sure that your grip is right as you engage this year. As you walk out the doors and engage the world this new year, make sure your grip is right. And from time to time throughout the year, check it. When you feel ill at ease, when you feel like you are not at peace, check your grip. Something is wrong. There is a relationship that is broken that requires justice. If you want peace, work for justice. If you want peace, keep checking your grip.